Three things that cause procrastination. Number one, very few people in the world suffer from this, and this is arousal. Let me explain. There are some people, about 1 to 2% of the population, that when they procrastinate, they wait, they actually get a release of dopamine that actually is a feel-good neurochemical, and then it builds up the stress towards the end, which is cortisol, epinephrine, or norepinephrine, the neurochemicals of stress, and then they innovate and they do what they need to do. How many of you are doing that? Procrastinating because of arousal. Number two reason is you're procrastinating because of fear. So the question is, fear of what? There's 50 different types of fears. So fear of failing. So if I do this and I fail, then I have to deal with the consequences and the emotions of failure. What if I procrastinate? What if I do it, then I'm embarrassed or ashamed or ridiculed or judged? What if I'm disappointed? What if somebody judges me? So when we have something to do and we procrastinate, it's actually giving us a reward in either the form of dopamine, okay, for not taking action, but also dopamine for staying safe. Dopamine for staying safe. When we are safe, we're comfortable. When we're comfortable, we just keep repeating the same patterns and we have the same expectations, even though we are hoping, dreaming, and praying that we will achieve the goal we want. And then the third one we just talked about as well is fear. Fear holds people back because of what will others think of me? What will happen if? And our brain is thinking about the negative consequences of taking action and maybe not succeeding. When we're dealing with do less, achieve more, right? When we're talking about, stop trying so hard, most people are creatures of fill in the blank. Most people are creatures of what? Creatures of what? Somebody type it in. Thanks, Skylight. Rena, yes. What is fear? It's a circuit that's activated in the brain that releases a neurochemical, right? For protection in most cases, right? So what is a habit? What is a habit? What's a habit? What's a habit in the brain? Were you born with any habits? Were you born with any fears? Were you born with any limiting beliefs? Were you born with a self-image? Isn't a habit the brain's way of repeating a pattern that we have followed? Repeating a pattern that we have followed, a thought pattern, emotion pattern, behavior pattern, and a result pattern. Isn't it the brain's way of automation to conserve energy? Isn't it the brain's way of automation to conserve energy? Does your subconscious mind care? Does your subconscious mind care whether you have a good habit, a bad habit, a constructive habit, a destructive habit, an empowering habit, or a disempowering habit? Does your subconscious mind care? I hope all of you are writing the answer, no. Subconscious mind does not care. But once you have developed a habit, a thought habit, positive, negative, doesn't matter. Emotional habit, positive, constructive, negative, destructive, doesn't matter. Behavioral habit doesn't matter. Have any of you ever tried to break a habit? How hard is it to break a habit? Habits are hard to make and hard to break, especially if you don't know the neuroscience of a habit. If you do something one time, does that make it a habit? No. How long does it take to create and reinforce a new habit? How long does it take to release a habit that is not serving you? Anybody know? Does anybody know? It's not easy to break a habit. Why? Because our brain is an energy miser. It wants to protect us from using specifically glucose. Changing a habit requires energy. Developing a habit requires energy. It takes between 66 days and 365 days, 66 to 365, okay, to develop and reinforce a neural pattern depending on the sophistication of the pattern. Think of it as software. How long does it take you to write software code for a cell phone or your computer? And the answer is, well, it depends. If it's a simple software code, it's easier. If it's complex, it takes longer. Does that make sense? So listen, when we are talking about doing less to achieve more, do you think that there's some things you might be able to learn from neuroscience or neuropsychology? Because if you want to learn how to achieve more and do less, then yes, start off with the vision of what you want. And then we have to work on the internal mechanics, the neuromechanics of how our brain works so that we are more efficient. And the way we are more efficient is we model the behaviors, we model the skills, we model the patterns, okay, of doing it right versus doing more of what's wrong. But we do what we do because of habits. 96 to 98% of all of our behaviors are habitual, right? So when we are being smarter, we're actually thinking first. We're not doing and reinforcing patterns, we're thinking first. And then we're laying down a plan of behavior so that we could be efficient by modeling success.